Hello, everyone. I'm Josh Albayero again, and today we are on episode 9, and we're going to be talking about business use of home, and very interesting podcast that we're going to do today. It's very short. We're probably going to spend about 15 minutes talking about this deduction, and just want to make sure that you understand the deduction, business use of home, and how is it that you can claim a business use of home deduction, right? And who is this for? So let's talk about how all of this works first. All right, so if you use part of your home for business, you may be able to deduct expenses for the business use of your home. So there are two ways that you can claim this, right? Two ways that you can calculate the business use of home expenses. But before we get to that, let's talk about how we qualify for that. And it's very important to understand that, you can't just make up a story that says that you use your business or your home for business, right? There's some stipulations involved, and then there's some proof that you will have to show the IRS in case of an audit, right? So in case of an audit, they'll come into your business, right, and sit there with you for as long as necessary for you to be able to prove that is a home that you use for business. So let's talk about the how we qualify, because that's very important, right? So number one is the company must be legitimate. So you can't just say, at the end of the year, during tax preparation, oh, well, I had this company and it's such and such, right? No, you got to have this company registered with the city. At a very minimum, right, you have this registered with the city or the county, right? You don't have to be an LLC or an incorporation or a partnership, right? You can be a DBA, but you're registered with the city, you have your license, and you also register, you have an EIN from the IRS, and so you got to be legitimate. Number two, the space that you use, right, must be used as your principal place of business, right? So you're probably thinking, what does that really mean, right? So if you are an individual who you probably independent sales, right, and you use your home to maybe let's say you're a bookkeeper, right, and you use your home and either you meet clients there or you do all of the work there in the house, right, or you are an independent contractor, maybe an independent general contractor, right, and your house is considered your office, right, and that's what you use to do planning, meetings, and invoicing and all of this stuff. Everything gets done in your house. Yeah, you probably work outside, but when it comes to the administration of the business in the house, then you can claim the home business deduction, right? And the third thing is that the area that you're claiming, pay attention to this area. The area that you're claiming must be used regularly and exclusively for business, right? So when I say area, it's understood that you don't do business in your bedroom, that you don't do business in your kitchen, and that whatever area you have designated as the office, right, that area is used regularly and exclusively for business. So that means that you're not going to go later today or tomorrow after seeing this podcast, and you're going to create your own thing and call it your business area for last year, right? So no, you can't do that, right? It has to be a place that you regularly use and exclusively use for business, right? So now that you know the three qualifying components, right, you have to be a legit company, you have the place has to be your principal place of business, and 3, it has to be used exclusively and regularly for business, right? So now that you know that, let's talk about the deduction, because even though you see a lot of numbers over here, it's very simple. The first one is where you use the simplified method. If the space that you're using for your business office, your home business office, is 300 square feet or less, then you are going to simply enter those square feet that you use into IOOGO tax, and IOOGO tax will calculate for you. And it's going to say something like this. let's say that the place that you use at the house, right, that room that you have designated as the business office is 250 feet. So you're simply going to say 250 times $5, and then you get a deduction of $1,250. Simple as that, right? Remember, this deduction is not meant for you to make your mortgage or for you to pay your yearly rent. No, it's a deduction understanding that you could have this business deduction, right? The business expense, right? So again, you're going to tell IOOGO tax, I spent or I work in this area, which is regularly and exclusively used for business, and and this area is 250 feet. That's all you're going to do. You're going to say 250 feet. And that's it. And IOOGO tax is going to do the calculation for you. And it's going to say, since you're using the simplified method, we, based on the law, are going to calculate 250 times $5. And it gives you a deduction of $1,250.
Select Home Office Expenses to report any applicable expenses in that category. Enter the square footage of area in your home that you use for business and the total square footage of your home. Select, if you wish, to use the simplified method to calculate the deduction. Select the date you first used the area of home for business, and if you used part of your home as a daycare facility.
Simple as that. And that's a really, really easy and good deductions. And now the other one is where you use the detail method, where you tell the system, you tell IOOGO tax that you are using more than 300 feet. So let's use 500 as an example, right? So you're using 500 feet, and your house is 1,500 square feet, right? So you're using a third of your home, right? 30% of your home, right? So the space you use to operate your business is 500 feet, and the total space of your house is 1,500 feet. So you're using a third of your home. So then 30%, right? 33% of your house direct expenses are for the business, right? So that's what IOOGO tax is going to calculate, right? So I don't want you to get confused, right? What's going to happen is once you tell IOOGO tax, one, I use 500 feet. Two, my home is 1,500 feet. Then IOOGO tax is going to use this form right here. And this form is form 8829. Let me zoom in there so you can see it better. 8829. So IOOGO tax is going to fill this out for you, right? And it's going to determine the percentage, right? So you don't have to do this. So IOOGO tax is going to say, fill this out for you. You're going to say 500 feet and the total area of your home. So the total square feet of the home is 1,500 feet. So you are using 33%, right? And just use rounded math, and you're using 33% of the home. So if you have a $1,000 cable bill or electricity bill, then 33% of that gets counted as a direct expense of the business, right? So that's very important, right? So now that you understand the two methods, you need to understand how the deduction works on the second method, right? Because you are going to tell IOOGO tax your direct expenses. Like, what are direct expenses? Direct expenses are expenses that the business needs that are exclusively for the business, right? So let's say that you had a separate phone line for the business. You have your phone line for the home, which no one really has a home phone anymore, but you do. You have a separate home, a separate line for the phone. You also have a fax machine. You also have an internet line just for the business, right? You have your home internet, and you have I'm going to the extreme here because typically you will just have one internet thing, right? So those are direct expenses to the business, right? You will fully claim those, right? We're talking about the ones who are indirect that like the electricity for the house, right? You have to have that to run the house before you run the business, right? So the internet for the house, right? That it's used for the house and the business, right? So here's what I tell everyone. If number one, determine which method is better for you. Number two, if you believe that it is too complicated for you to do, then ask for help, right? We are here to help you, right? So what I'm going to do is, now that you understand the deduction and how it works, there's two methods, right? The simplified method, which is how many feet times 500, right? So as long as you're using 300 or less, 300 square feet or less, you can use the simplified method. If you have more than 300, if you're using more than 300 feet as your home office, then you have to use the detail method, where it's based by percentage, right? How much of your home, how many square feet of your home are you using, right? So if I have 500 feet as my area, and I have 1,500 feet as the total space of the house, and I'm using 33%, roughly 33% of my home, right? So that percentage is gonna be used to determine my deduction. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how it's done in IOOGO Tax, and then we are gonna wrap this up, and you'll see how simple it is.
If you prefer to enter actual expenses, confirm if you own or rent your home used for business. Enter the cost of the home, including land, and the cost of the land. Enter all indirect expenses for your home. Indirect expenses are any regular home expenses you pay, regardless of having a home office. You can also enter direct expenses for your home office space. These are expenses that were specific to the area of home you use for business. And that's it. You've added home office expenses for your business.
All right, so now that you've seen how simple it is, it was a very, very easy process. I want to invite you to watch the rest of our videos, and you go into YouTube, follow us in YouTube, follow us, subscribe on YouTube, and you can see the rest of the podcast that we have done, and we're going to continue to add more throughout the tax season. Once tax season is over, we are going to switch to another topic, it's more operational, how can you run your business and things of that nature. So don't forget, follow us on Facebook, follow us, subscribe on YouTube. This was the episode number 9 of the podcast series that we have built specifically for you around tax season. And this was business use of home. Hopefully this was educational for you. Share it with your friends. We'll see you next time.